Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth." But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town or city built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. We're going to go about this text different than we have been, and we're just going to break it down piece by piece and ask, how does it apply to me? Well, first off, Jesus is talking to you. He says, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Jesus is empowering you for something. So you listen to what Jesus said. He is saying you are something that stands out. You're something that stands out. You are the salt of the earth, the light of the world, a city set on a hill. Salt is meant to give the world taste. You can think about all sorts of combinations of seasonings that bring on so many different tastes. But usually salt is always included. Salt is everywhere. Salt is needed in everything. We need salt. Without it, the world doesn't have taste. Jesus is saying you stand out as salt does. He also says you are light. Light is something that stands out. We need light. Light gives us purpose sometimes. It makes us happy. If we lived in a world full of darkness, we wouldn't be happy people. But light gives us happiness. But also light gives us direction, like that city on a hill. Have you ever seen that city on a hill or on a mountainside where it was late at night and dark, but you saw the lights there and it gave you some direction? I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and for those who grew up in Denver, they know exactly what I'm about to say. There's this mountain that every single night, I'm not sure if it still does, but it used to have a big cross that would shine out in the middle of the night. And when you looked that way, you knew you were looking towards the west, towards the mountains. The light on a city of a hill. We are people, you are empowered to stand out as followers of Jesus. You can stand out for the world, for the earth. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. You're something that stands out for them, the people around you. You're the one that gives the world taste, that gives the world light, that gives the world direction, that gives the world purpose. You as a follower of Jesus, give the world purpose. How do we stand out in this world as people following Jesus? How do we stand out as salt, as light, as a city on a hill? Do we stand out by looking super holy and self-righteous and as if we know it all? Absolutely not. Jesus was all against that. In fact, if we look at the rest of this context in Matthew chapter 5, oftentimes we refer to it as the Sermon on the Mount. If we look at the rest of the context, Jesus talks about the hypocrites. And the hypocrites he was referring to as the Pharisees, these people who looked righteous, who looked holy, but he was calling them out because their religion was all about themselves. He's saying you've got to be different than them. In fact, I think if we look at the context of Matthew chapter 5, we see that that's how you lose your saltiness. That's how you lose your light and cover your light, when you focus it all on yourself. Maybe you're like me and you've noticed how religion oftentimes has a focus on me, on seeing to my needs. But Jesus is saying something totally different. Keep on reading at the end, and he's talking about light and how we don't cover it up with a bowl, but we put it out on a lampstand so that everyone in the room can see. And Jesus says, in the same way, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. See, we need to stand out by pointing people to Jesus. Salt is never salty for itself. It's for others. It doesn't have that taste for itself. It's for the people walking on this earth. The sun doesn't shine for itself. It shines for the people on this earth to give us light, to give us seasons. We are the same. We're not here to serve ourselves. We're here to serve others, and that's how we stand out. Not by being self-righteous, but by showing other people that we are imperfect just like them, but we follow a perfect Savior. And that we're following the Savior towards forgiveness and grace and love. And we extend that same forgiveness, grace, and love and mercy and compassion towards one another. When people see that, that's what brings the world taste. That's what brings the world direction. When they see people acting like Jesus. Let your light shine so that they may see your good deeds and glorify God. This week, find ways to stand out for Jesus, not yourself. Don't be a religion about yourself. Be all about following Jesus. Find ways to stand out, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. You are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. We are here to bring Jesus to others. So how can we do that? Well, I think if we keep on reading the rest of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7, we're going to see plenty of ways we can do that. To love our enemies, to pray for those who persecute us, to be dedicated to our spouse, to be people of our word, and the list goes on and on. Be people that stand out, not to prove how holy and righteous we are, but to show people how great Jesus is. Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Embrace that. Jesus is talking to you. He is empowering you to stand out in the world, to point the world to Him. Embrace it, and don't let that die. Don't let that taste go away, fade away. Don't cover that light of Jesus, but embrace Jesus in your life and bring others to Him. Let's follow Jesus and let's stand out for Him this week. And be back next week as we continue to look at more of what Jesus said.